Alright guys, welcome back to the video today. So in this video we're going to be talking about shotgunning and we're going to be talking about sniping post patch and which one I personally think is better within the current meta and how special ammo operates now. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. So to start off the video, I'm going to be talking about the pros and cons of sniping, and this is mainly going to relate to everything post patch. So any sort of change that I've discussed previously that has to relate to changes that were made 5 to 6 months ago, I won't really be addressing those specifically. And then in the background I have a gameplay of me using the Calcutta and the Hawk Moon sniping. I think it was like a week ago or something. It was a few days after the patch. I was enjoying it. It was really fun. But for pros, the patch promotes passive gameplay and there's a lot lower risk of sniping because generally you're at a longer medium to long range compared to shotgunning, which is more close range. So what that means is that within this patch, obviously you lose special ammo upon death. So if I peek a lane right here, maybe for example, and someone comes around it and I miss, then I miss my shot, right? I miss my opportunity to get my special kill, but now I can reload and back away and I'm completely fine. I'm still alive and I still have my ammo. With a shotgun, it would be a little bit different. If I went and I challenged an engagement up close, which is where shotguns obviously are dominant, and I ended up losing that engagement or just missing my shot in the first place, chances are I would be ending up dead and I would lose my special ammo. Additionally, it's okay to kind of challenge those medium range lanes that you can probably hit people at, and that you feel pretty confident that if you miss you can kind of get away from it safely. But I would highly recommend, and obviously you can do this if you want, like the point of the game is to have fun with it, and if you're having fun doing this, then go ahead and do it. My point of this video, for this like whole tips section I guess, is just for like the maximum efficiency I guess of running a sniper and having the best performance possible, which would be to kind of stay away from those short range engagements where you're trying to quick scope people, get a nasty little clip for the montage, where someone runs around the corner and you try to black scope them. So if you want to keep your ammo, I highly recommend you stay away from that. If you miss your first shot, which chances are at that range you most likely will, then you're probably going to be out of luck and get killed by the person's primary or the shotgun or whatever, and then at that point you'll be losing your special ammo. There's a lot lower chance of trading in a sniper battle as well compared to a shotgun battle. The server refresh rate of Destiny is 30 tick. Most competitive games are a lot higher than that, and additionally it's 30 frames per second. So in Destiny you see a lot of trades, especially with shotguns. So with snipers you do see trades obviously from time to time. Here and there you'll see them. Obviously that's gonna happen in any game pretty much, especially one with 30 FPS and 30 tick. But for the most part there's a lot less sniper trades I noticed than you'd see with a shotgun battle, and with that, when you're not trading, you're keeping your special ammo. So that's one extra additional pro or benefit of using a sniper. Moving on to cons for sniping, I'm not going to cover the general stuff. Obviously we know that the flinch has been bad for a really long time. The scope zoom was pushed out, which not a lot of people liked either. But the main stuff that I want to talk about is just one quick thing, one little thing, is that you have to remember that hand cannon range, the initial accuracy is really far now. The vendor palindrome is probably the most easily accessible hand cannon out there right now. It's also the one with pretty much the most range. So I noticed when I was using my IS Luna, which is kind of like my preferred hand cannon, was that I was missing a lot of shots that I had my reticle lined up on, even when I was like kind of medium to longish range. And I'm not talking about follow-up shots, I'm talking about the initial shot. But as soon as I switched to palindrome, like no matter what range I was, my first shot hit every single time. So you're gonna notice that there's gonna be a lot less engagements where the person gets a ghost bullet on you at long range, and usually if you get like the first shot off with your sniper and they don't hit you with their hand cannon, it's a lot easier to shoot people. But now after the patch, you're probably gonna notice that people are tagging you with a hand cannon, thus dealing out flinch from a longer range, which in turn could make it a little bit harder to snipe just overall. Moving on to pros and cons for shotguns. The pros is that it's high risk, high reward, and extremely fast-paced gameplay, and for a lot of players this is the only way to play for them. I know a lot of people that have sniped and they kind of switch, like they snipe here and there and then they'll shotgun or whatever, but the people who have been shotgunning since day one have not switched. Shotgunning is just their thing, and for some people it's the only way they like to play the game. So high risk, high reward, super fast, super fun to play. You can also make extremely big plays with with it now that not everyone on the map will have special ammo. Obviously this was the case before where not everyone on the map had it at the same exact time, but I've noticed from playing competitive matches that when I'm like, for example, if I'm on Burning Shrine and I'm stuck in some certain pocket of the map, there's this one instance where I think I was like really weak and 3 players rushed me, but none of them had special ammo, and I picked up like a 3-piece with a shotgun simply because none of them had shotgun ammo. So now that there's not ammo everywhere, if you're fortunate enough to have ammo, then you can actually make some really big plays with it. Crucible isn't really as shotgun heavy anymore, so you'll notice that people are using sidearms, some people are going back to fusion rifles or snipers, so you don't really have to worry about winning as many shotgun 1v1s now. I noticed from playing Rumble after the patch that shotgun kills became a lot easier to get in the sense that not every single engagement was a battle of like vertical space and all that stuff, because not everyone was running a shotgun, and for the people that were running shotguns, not everyone had ammo for it at the same exact time. Moving on to cons for shotgunning, I think PvP right now is probably the slowest and most passive it's been in a while, and you'll notice that a lot of players, because they don't have special, they'll either be backpedaling with a primary or they'll be backpedaling with a sidearm. And if you don't know what that is, it's essentially like you see someone around the corner on your radar and you think, okay, we're going to be challenging a shotgun battle right here, and that's how it's going to go down, and then you slide around the corner and they're backpedaling or moving backwards with their primary out or with their sidearm, and you'll notice that this can be frustrating at times and that you'll be kind of baited into it pretty often. So for some players that might kind of drag you away from using a shotgun, but overall it's not too big of a deal. Also, fast-paced gameplay, which is something that shotguns obviously revolve around, is that you're going to be dying a lot more often, which means losing your special ammo more frequently. And what I noticed from this is that I really don't, this is my biggest plight I think with the special ammo economy, is that I don't really notice that I have special ammo less often when I'm playing with a shotgun especially. It's just that because I'm dying so much and I'm losing it so often, it's just that I have it the same percentage of the time, if not a higher percentage of the time than I did pre-patch. It's just that most of my time I spend in a Rumble game is dying and then wait, oh special ammo's up in 10 seconds, so I'm just waiting the quick 10 seconds for my special ammo, and then I have to reload because I'm using a rifle barrel, and obviously you get the issue, right? Like I really have special the same amount of time that I normally would pre-patch. It's just that I'm wasting a ton of time reloading off of spawn every single time. The final cons for shotguns is just kind of the general stuff that was applied in the patch. So they're not as accurate mid-air anymore, and they remove precision damage. So even though I guess technically they're more consistent now, they're going to be consistently killing from a shorter range. And the biggest thing for me, which was what I found out in a video explained by Reminisce, I'll link the video in the description box down below. I highly recommend anyone that's searching for a higher understanding or a better understanding of PvP, how the weapons work and all that, I highly recommend you watch this video. I didn't really know that it worked like this until now, entirely at least. But essentially what they did is they didn't make the spread wider while you're midair with shotguns. They didn't make it so you do less damage while you're midair with shotguns. They simply made it that, they made it so that the spread is more unreliable. So essentially what I did is I positioned a red dot, which I'll turn to a greenish color. I positioned it at the very center of the screen. So I got a 1920 by 1080 Photoshop file, and then I formatted it so I got a dot in the exact center of the screen. And you'll notice that the pellet spread around it isn't in an exact circle centered with the screen, if that makes any sense. Like technically your pellets are still going to be just as tightly packaged and it's going to appear the same, but what you're going to notice is that instead of it all being centered around the center of the screen or the center of the initial pellet that you'll be firing, it's all clumped up, but it goes either to the left, to the right, diagonal up into the left, diagonal up into the right, etc. You get the point, right? They're overall more inconsistent. I hope that it kind of makes sense how I explained it for midair. Basically, your package or the package of bullets or the spread of bullets is not getting any wider at all. It's just that sometimes in midair you'll get a perfect shotgun shot and you'll be able to map people from the same distance as you did pre-patch, and then sometimes you won't be able to, which is another element of RNG that we're adding to the game. Overall, I'd say even with the nerfs, the shotguns are in the end probably more versatile and probably more effective to use. With that being said, snipers definitely receive kind of like an indirect buff in the sense that it's promoting a little bit more of a passive style of play. You're not going to get aped as much, so in general you can kind of get away more with sniping as well. And on top of that, you'll see a little bit more sidearm play here and there. That's going to do it for the video today. I hope you guys can kind of just take the information that I kind of gave, I guess, and decide for yourself. Obviously, I'm not gonna like give you a decision, and that's like the only thing I think you should use. I just want to provide the information I know and then have you make a decision for yourself, I guess. But personally, like I said, I think shotguns are probably more versatile overall. I hope you guys enjoyed the video today. If you guys have not been getting my videos in your sub box and you want to be alerted or notified whenever I upload, go ahead and click that bell. Click the bell button next to my name. It would mean a lot. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you guys in my next video. Peace.